Hey there, everybody. Welcome out to the Dice Tower's Q and A. Q stands for questions. A stands for awesome. Something weird happened on my computer. But we're good now, folks, I think. So welcome out. If you've not been to one of these before, you ask questions and then I give answers. Also, if you've never been to one of these before, then you're in for a treat because I am a dang delight. If you hear some background noise, that's mostly going to either be Roy's rampant screaming, which is pretty normal around these parts, or it's actually just shuffling of the library shelves. Which is Dice Tower East is a week from one of the days this week. I think Wednesday. I don't remember when it starts. Anyway, we're just kind of in like busy flurry mode, getting stuff all ready. Getting the games on the shelves and stuff ready to go. So if you hear some stuff in the background, that's what's going on here. I, however, get the joy now of answering y'all's questions. All right, we got a couple over. We already have several loaded in here. I got it. So Spencer asked a few questions ahead of time. He said he won't be able to be here. What's your favorite Dominion expansion? Let me see if I can get these questions lined up in a good spot here and at a nice size. My favorite Dominion expansion might probably be Prosperity because it's just I don't know, great, big money, big expensive cards, lots of cool treasures, really fun ways to get those fired off. If you visit a zoo, what animal do you want to see most? The answer is penguins. Any animal related question, you could probably imagine the answer is going to be penguins. I'm going to mess with this sizing here, see if I can get some, get these questions in a good spot. That's probably going to be a good size question. All right, let's get going. People are saying hello, all caps. They send their love to me as they should be. Let's see. Oh, also, I probably should check the audio first thing. I should have jumped down to make sure everything seems to be coming through. Oh, hold up. It was coming through the MacBook.
Yeah, but there's not any signal coming through on the mic. Is it on?
It's on now.
That seems better.
All right. Yeah. Okay, there we go. Had to change the batteries shortly before going live because I'm a consummate professional. All right. Yeah, I probably should check that. I think now the audio settings are correct because it's going to be coming through the lapel mic instead of my MacBook. So if the audio sounded tinny or anything for that reason, that'd probably be why. All right, let's hop in the chat here and answer some more questions. What do we got to say here? Michael Heller, good luck. Good luck with the job hunt. That's unfortunate. Sorry to hear about that. What do you mostly do at Dice Tower Cons? Play games, teach games, run the store, work the library. This is going to be interesting. I stared directly at one of those bright LED light panels. I'm going to try to look pensively over this direction now instead of over there because that hurt. I've never been to a Dice Tower East before. This one's going to be interesting because we are going to be a little bit more hands-on actually running it ourselves. Dice Tower West, Tim and his team do a lot of the organizational stuff, and he has a good team of volunteers that helps run things. We're hoping that we'll have a good team of volunteers as well. If you ever go to a convention and you enjoy what they do, consider volunteering because it's awesome. It's so great to have people who are enthusiastic and helpful. So I don't know, we might be doing a little bit more of just making sure things actually run smoothly, but the best thing that we get to do at cons is meet people, make it a very fun experience for them, try to play games as much as we can, teach games that we really enjoy. Yeah, I mean, and that's one of the things, like, you'll usually see that we kind of spread out to play games with lots of different people so that we can make lots of different people very, very happy. That's one of the things I enjoy the most of the convention. The thing I enjoy least is probably like booth work, because that's very exhausting and tiring work. It is a great way to meet people, though. But at some of the bigger conventions where we have booths and stuff, that's kind of like one of the main focuses for most of the normal convention hours. But at a Dice Tower convention, then you can bet that we're going to try to be around and as front-facing as possible to lots of people. So let's continue. I've not had a chance to play Carnegie yet, and I would like to rectify that, hopefully, by the time Dice Tower East comes around, because I feel like that would be a good game to be able to teach to lots of people. I bet people are going to be interested in it, and I suspect I'm going to enjoy it. I'll tell you what I am doing. I'm actually playing a game of it on Board Game Arena at the moment, an asynchronous game, where I don't really know the rules. I'm just kind of clicking buttons, and my friends are very well aware of how little I actually know the game, and so I'm trying to just kind of push some buttons and see what's going on. Back in the day, a friend of mine and I would do that. We'd play games on Board Game Arena without knowing the rules, either of us, and we'd just be sitting there chatting and being like, "What? Okay, hey, I think we're figuring things out," you know. And that was just like a dumb little series that we did on our own old YouTube channels and stuff. But that was kind of fun. I have no idea if there's any interest in watching people who don't know what they're doing playing a game, but it was cool that you couldn't actually break any rules. Bum, bum, bum. Let's see. Have I gotten a chance to play a Vital Lacerda game with Monique and Naveen from Before You Play? I've not gotten a chance to play a game with them, though that would be awesome. I got a chance to say briefly hello at Dice Tower West. They and several people were out there. That's another fun part of conventions is seeing people that you have known basically just from the internet. But I'll tell you, it's really fun to meet people too in person. They'll be like, "Hi, I'm Tom." They're like, "Oh, nice to meet you." Shake hands, talk for a while, and they're like, "No, I'm Tommy, like from the YouTube chat." And I'm like, "Oh, that one!" That one's always really fun to kind of meet people, whether they're like content creators or whether they're just you folks. You know, in the chat, it's kind of funny to know someone by a username, but then to actually meet them in person has always been really great. Any games that you're excited or interested in checking out at Gen Con? That's curious. I know I looked through the Board Game Geek convention guide, or whatever they call it, like the new releases and stuff that are coming out. I looked through it. I know that there's several. I forgot them all. I probably should have thought about that a little bit more, but we're getting close to Gen Con. But the Gen Con preview on www.boardgamegeek.com is worth checking out to see what kind of cool stuff there is. Are you the classic Simpsons fan of the group, or is that Mike? That's me. Mike is the Seinfeld person. Most things can tie back to a Seinfeld reference for Mike. Most things can tie back to a Simpsons reference for me. And I feel like I've I don't know, been making more of them, more Simpsons references recently. I see what looks like Grimace in the back. Which McDonald's character is my? We got Grimace. We got Kool-Aid Man. Is this a Funko? What is this? Or is this from like a Mickey D's meal? It kind of looks funky, Funko-y. Hamburglar, because he seemed like the only person who's actually interested in eating food, I think. Like everyone else would just like to play and pretend and dance with the burgers, but no, Hamburglar was like, give me the good stuff and I'm gonna bounce. So I think I associate with Hamburglar. I can't believe you and Tom aren't familiar with the Clone Wars or Rebels. I know that they're good shows. Every time I try to watch Star Wars Clone Wars, I keep watching the first episode and get halfway through and I realize, oh yeah, I tried watching this like a few years back. And I know that I probably need to skip past, or like get past or skip past the first season, because first seasons are often rough. It was a show, I don't want to call it like a children's show, not in a demeaning way, but like that first season I tried watching several episodes and it didn't grasp me the way that something like Avatar: The Last Airbender did, or Dragon Prince, or some of those shows that I think are children's animation but are like really good and thoughtful and appeal to me even as an adult. I think that the later seasons of Clone Wars get that way. Same thing with Rebels. Rebels almost seemed like even a step younger, was kind of the target audience, but then I've heard that the shows get really good. I like Star Wars a lot. I'm clearly wearing the shirt, so yeah. I watched a couple of different Ahsoka Tano episodes that were there were some articles that were like, hey, here's some really good ones to hit, and so I liked them, but I don't know, maybe if I get some like particular things to kind of look for, I can appreciate the series, then I can try to go through it. I also just do not watch much TV. I watch the, you know what I mean, like, oh cool, there's a new episode of Obi-Wan this week, or the new episode of Moon Knight this week. That's about the TV that I watch. I did start watching the Movies That Made Us documentaries on Netflix. That was fun. But yeah, I just don't watch a lot. That is one of the big things. Any older games, tabletop or video, you're nostalgic for? Oh, plenty. Board game wise, I would like to try 13 Dead End Drive again. I loved that game when I was a kid, and I don't know how much substance there is, but I think that one is a little bit of like a hidden movement game. You're a particular character, you want that person to be able to get out the mansion, but if you're too obvious about it, then other players can make them go stand under the chandelier and get killed. I just like it's a bizarre, cartoony, fantastic level of violence in that one. I have nostalgia for that as a board game. Video game wise, many video games. When I was young, I played so much, and I less do now. Top 3 essential movies. Jurassic Park, Back to the Future, and Star Wars is it's so big now. I guess maybe the original Star Wars, right? Those like kind of the 3 big franchises I really enjoy. That's not true. Jurassic Park is a movie that I love and a franchise that I'm more so okay with. Star Wars is it's complicated, I suppose, right? But like, I guess the original Star Wars is fine to say, hey, you probably should have seen that, because it's an amazing cultural touchstone. Jurassic Park and Back to the Future are also just 3 fantastic movies. They're all a little bit older, yeah, but, you know, I wonder, that would be a different interesting question. 3, like, more modern movies that I think are essential. Maybe I'll do that if somebody asks. Which card games would you recommend for a small, friendly board game tournament? Best 3 to 5 players. Tournament-wise, I think doing a bunch of games of For Sale would be really fun, tournament-wise. For Sale is great, 3 to 6 players. Yeah, For Sale is so good. It's hard to almost say something better than that. If you want something weird, go try Uwe Rosenberg's Mamma Mia, the pizza card counting game. That'd be weird to do tournament wise. I think that'd be fun. Will the Knizia character make another appearance? Well, one day when we do the Knizia's top 101 to 200 game list. That would be a stretch. Yeah, Tommy Miller. I met Chris that way. He was like, yo, I'm Tommy Miller from the YouTube comments. And I was like, I know you! How often do expansions actually improve game experience for you? Often enough that I still like expansions, but infrequently enough that I'm wary of them. I don't have any idea. Maybe like a third to a half of the time, like that it has a meaningful, ooh, I'm glad to play with this expansion. And other times I think like that's fine. I could probably love the base game just as much. But I'll tell you, yeah, we you know, at the Dice Tower we do that list, the top 10 expansions every once in a while. That might be one that would be kind of fun for like the A team to do or something, or maybe I'll just do it on my own or something. Because man, some expansions just are not necessary. Some are actively bad, but the ones that are fantastic just really stand out. I mean, they kind of become these gold standards for me, like the Terraforming Mars Prelude. More games, feel free to make Prelude expansions like that. The Feast for Odin, Norwegian set. I really like those ones. Oh, here's an interesting. Ah, man, I can't get the size of these questions to be like consistently. All right, here we go. What's the best way to approach rulebooks? My game group wants to play a lot of new games, but no one wants to be the person responsible for teaching the game. Just take turns, especially if you're playing a lot of new, complicated games. My game group back in Vegas would do that. Several of the people there were like big Kickstarter backers. Several of them were the big Vital Lacerda fans. That's kind of how I got introduced to those titles. I obviously have a lot of tastes that we all kind of brought to the table, and we just kind of coordinate and say, all right, this week I'm going to teach the game. I got this one I'm really excited to play. Next week, Carlo's got this one that just came in. Hey, Czar's got the week after that. We wouldn't like overschedule it or anything, but we would just kind of take turns so that one person wasn't the one teaching every game, because that gets exhausting, Yeah, take turns, read the rule book. If there's a video for it, watch it. I find that if I'm struggling with a game, I tend to enjoy reading the rule book, at least a periphery glance, right, to get like a start on it. Maybe watch a video, and then if I'm like really responsible for it, we'll read the rule book again, and for depending on how complicated the game is. But I always have to read the rule book, I think, if I'm really trying to learn the game with the pieces out. It's just going to make learning so much easier. Do you personally back a lot of Kickstarter Game Found projects these days? Or do you generally rely on being able to use Dice Tower review copies? We have an amazing library here. And so my purchasing in general, Kickstarter backing, all this stuff has gone way down. But I wouldn't even kickstart games that much. I know Tom, this morning during Board Game Breakfast, teased that there's going to be a series starting up next week called like Kickstarter Look Back, where he's going to go through and look at all the Kickstarters that he's backed going years back, and he's going to go through a chunk of time, and it's just this ongoing series that he could talk about these games, if they delivered, what he thinks of them, were they worth it, all those things. He could do, he's got probably dozens, if not hundreds of games that he could discuss. I could do one episode, and it would be like a few minutes, because I've only backed a few things. I looked at my Kickstarter history, and it's like maybe 10 things, and not all of them are games. Sometimes they're like, well, like the Dice Tower Kickstarter was on there, and there's a game called Hey, Steal This Game, which was kind of interesting story. It was a booth at Essence. Someone got their money box stolen, as sometimes happens at those big conventions, so they were doing a Kickstarter to raise money, and they made a little postcard game, and I've never played that game, and I don't care about that game. It was like a guess which briefcase has the money in it, and the other 3 are X's. It's like a 3-card Monty type thing. I never played that game, I don't care, but I wanted to give some money to a publisher who lost out a huge amount of money. That is a huge loss for them. And then I've backed like a handful of games. So yeah, there's very little that I've actually bought and kickstarted recently. Let's keep going. Ho, ho, ho. Speaking of animated series adults can enjoy, yes, Phineas and Ferb is one of my favorites. I really enjoy it a lot, an inordinate amount. But I think part of it is that it's very fun, it's very inventive. It feels like a throwback to older cartoons. I know that the series creators, I've watched interviews with them, and they pitched that show for, I think, like a decade, which is why I think it kind of feels like an older cartoon show that has a lot of those gags that adults can appreciate. Perry the Platypus with the Dr. Doofenshmirtz relationship. That's comedy gold there. And then what the stuff that kids do is fun, often very musical, and I like that, even if it's not the funniest. Like Phineas and Ferb themselves aren't the funniest characters in the show, but it has such a good vibe to it. And their Christmas special is one of my favorite holiday watches, probably up there with Elf. That's a good point. The Clone Wars series is very strange. It's not a continuity, like, it's not a continuous storytelling thing. They just kind of go from place to place and do things. So that does make it a little bit harder. Jess in the chat saying 13 Dead and Drive is great. I never tried the 1313, which was like a reprinting of it. Interesting here. Past reviews, I see that your tastes in Wendy's are fairly similar. Yes. Is there a recent game where you and Wendy are at opposite ends of the appreciation scale? That's a funny one, where I also do a lot of reviews on my own, and those tend to be games that I think that if I played them, I think, pretty sure Wendy's not really going to like this. Or maybe, hey, if I'm going to have to prioritize games to play with Wendy as opposed to ones that I'll play at, we go to Cool Stuff up in Miami on Tuesdays for game nights and stuff like that. Like, I'll try to prioritize the games I don't think that she'll enjoy as much over there, right? Like, I'll try to play them outside of that. Let me take a look at some of the recent reviews I did. Yeah, but we definitely disagree on games plenty. And sometimes she's harsher on them than I am, and sometimes I'm harsher on them than she is, you know? So that's kind of... yeah, I don't know. We do have similar tastes, though, which is fantastic on a personal level, because I get to play lots of great games that I really enjoy. Yeah, I don't know. I could look it up at some point, but this probably isn't the time and place to do it, just because there's a load of questions. Is there a recent standout, though? Yeah, I'll think of one eventually. Nope, I've not played. I don't think I've played any Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game, but that would be interesting. Questions about the Star Wars Holiday Special. I've watched clips of it. I've watched where Princess Leia sings the Life Day Anthem or whatever. Man, that is amazing, that thing that got made. I wish there'd be like behind the scenes documentaries about that. I'm so tired of hearing about what a great revolutionary genius, visionary genius George Lucas was. Oh, look at all this great stuff. Oh, the intricate and smart history of the Skywalker saga. And I don't care about those behind the scenes. Show me why the Star Wars Holiday Special got made and where it all went wrong. Probably starting with the idea of doing a Star Wars Holiday Special. What is my favorite month of the year? Very selfishly, December. Because it's just usually built in kind of end of the year vacation type stuff. New Year's Day, Christmas is usually like a holiday week. When school was in session, when I was in that, it was out. I like presents. Yeah, very selfishly December. My birthday's in December. My anniversary is in December. Most of my family's birthday feels like it's in December. So, you know, it's a busy month, but I really do like it. Back when we lived in Vegas, too, it was also colder. You know, sometimes you get into the 40s, sometimes it dip into the 30s. I like winter, even if it's like fake winter like in Las Vegas. But it's not too cold here in Florida. But at least the wintertime does cool off quite a bit. Let's see. What else? What is this question? Which designers would you like to play a game with that they designed, or introduce them to games you feel they would like? I don't know. I'm sure most designers. I hear stories that, generally speaking, most designers are very nice people, or at least interesting to play with. You know, it'd be fun to meet Knizia or Bruno Cathala or anything. Phil Walker Harding would be a joy to meet, I'm sure. And so I don't know. I don't have any specific, you know, dreams of, I really hope I get to play a game with that person. It'd be nice to just kind of meet them and shake hands and be like, hey, thanks for the fun stuff that you make. When you did the A-Team Top 100 song, did you intentionally change a note in the intro to avoid copyright strike? I did. I don't know if you noticed, I changed up some of the stuff. The vocal melody ended up being a little bit too close anyway, but we didn't get like a copyright strike or anything for it, which is good, because those are the bad ones to get on YouTube. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Generally speaking, the parody stuff is well received. A couple of people are annoyed to no end, and that's fine. You know, to which I respond, you can skip 30 seconds of intro. You know, for 10 videos. We're just gonna keep doing stuff that we think is fun and funny and silly to do. How much creative freedom do you have at the Dice Tower? Did you see the the Top 100 intro song? Because a lot. Tom, surprisingly, I mean, when I got hired on, he walked up to me one day, you know, in my first like week or two, and he's like, "Everything going good?" "Yeah, it is." "Okay, cool. I need an intro for this series," and then he walked away. So You know, I mean, and I think that one in particular was like the 5 more great games that he did last year, and then some of just, you know, other little things like that. Like, hey, I need a new intro to this thing that we're going to do. And then that's about all of the creative direction I get. Sometimes he'll say, I'd like them to be a little bit longer, right? Because it's nicer, especially if it's a live series, to have a longer intro just to make sure that have as much time as possible to make sure all the things are plugged in and wired correctly, and that the YouTube chat comments and stuff are visible so we can kind of see what's going on there. But other than that, I can do pretty much whatever I want because Tom's not going to watch all the videos I make. So sometimes he'll come up to me like a few weeks later and be like, did you do this? Yeah. All right. Tom's recent Stonemaier games, top 10 that he did was fun. My top 3 Stonemaier games? Viticulture, for sure. Viticulture, for sure. I normally wouldn't have taken a question like this. But I was like, oh, I know plenty of, I know what my answers would be, and then I've completely blanked on them. Viticulture for sure. Just Charterstone is up there. It's close, if not in the top 3. I like Between Two Castles a lot. I like Between Two Cities and stuff, but Tapestry is pretty close to making my top 100, actually. I think Charterstone also was. I like Rolling Realms for a little roll and write game. And of course I like Viticulture, but I don't know. I don't love the Stonemaier printing. I like some of the mechanical changes that were made, but the art is the art's only okay to me. So I don't know. Yeah, I think that'd be kind of my top 3. Our town just wrapped up our annual ska and reggae music festival. Ah, that sounds awesome. I would totally go to that. Are going to any ska shows this summer? I don't know. Summer's going to be busy here, obviously, for the Dice Tower because we're going to travel a lot for conventions and stuff. I saw Billy Joel in Las Vegas. That was one of my bucket list concerts. You know. That was a dream. I for years and years and years wanted to see Billy Joel in concert, so I finally did. That was my big kind of treat for myself. And at this point, I would love to go see some ska shows. I'd love to go see some fun bands like that. I think I'm going to prioritize seeing Iron Maiden because I really love their stuff. They're one of the few bands I've always wanted to see that I haven't yet. But yeah, there's definitely. If some fun little ska festival comes through town, I would definitely go to that. Miami's hard though because we're so southern tip of Florida that not as many bands travel down here, and traveling up a few hour drive up to Orlando is just enough discouragement for me from seeing, from just being like, oh, let's try this concert out, let's go there. I might go see Weird Al I believe he comes to town in October. Not town, Orlando, 4.5 hours up. Zach, I'm sorry, I don't know how to answer this question, right? Wait, maybe I should read the whole thing. Which Dice Tower convention would you recommend based on places you could go for a break from board games? See, I don't know how to answer that question, I guess, because I haven't been to Orlando much. If you like Disney stuff, and theme parks and whatnot, yeah, fine. Go to Orlando. Orlando is such a touristy city. Vegas has a lot of cool things. Vegas has I know the food places so well in Vegas, whereas I don't in Orlando. And so for that reason alone, I would tilt towards Vegas in terms of like neat stuff to do away from the convention as well. I think Vegas is great. What are you looking forward to play at Dice Tower East? And how about Wendy? And what's on the hot games table? Well, Tom, I'm going to let Tom do the announcement of the hot games stuff because that's kind of his baby. He's curated that so much. But stuff I'm looking forward to playing. I look forward to, I don't know. I look forward to teaching a lot of different games. And so sometimes that'll be big games that I feel like, hey, I know this one really well, so I'm excited to teach that to people. I know that probably some people will ask for me to teach Golem. I will teach that one. I won't necessarily always sit down and play it because it's such a big investment. And it is hard sometimes to say, like, okay, cool, I'll be locked into this game for hours. But I'll teach plenty of games. I look forward to teaching Transmissions to people. We just did the Foursquare review of that. I think that'll be a really fun one to teach and get people playing. But I look forward to teaching just kind of... I always want to use this word carefully. Some older games, right? Like Ohanami is only like a year or two old or something like that. But I think that one's a fun one to teach at conventions. For Sale, I love teaching at conventions because... It's quick. It can play up to 6 people. Everyone has a good time. I like teaching kind of raucous games. I think that's one of my favorite things to do at a convention. Ooh, played Hanzo Totana a couple weeks ago. Yes. Are you aware there's a new version coming out with a mobster theme? I've heard of that. I've heard that's been in the works for a very long time. Years at this point, and I've not seen anything new about it. So if there's any new information, feel free to let me know. Favorite TV theme song? Oh man, there's so many good ones. I'm always partial to the Hawaii Five-0 theme. You know, I like that. Such a good groove. The Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers theme song is great. Goof Troop, great. A lot of that Disney Saturday Morning Block or whatever was fantastic. But I think there's a question earlier about nostalgia. One of the TV themes that I'm most nostalgic about is the Family Matters theme song, Days Go By. What a great jam that is. That opening piano lick, the whole thing works so well. I don't even know if I would enjoy Family Matters as a TV show that much these days, because comedies don't always carry over well. They don't always hold up well. But that theme song... That one's great. Have you or do you watch anime shows? This feels like an interrogation. Have you ever? No, yeah, of course. I watch plenty of anime shows. As a kid, I loved Dragon Ball Z. I'm rewatching some of the original Pokemon with my daughter just because I thought, oh, that'd be a fun thing to do like once a week or so. And it's a very incredibly okay show. But that I watched that one as a kid, but then I would get into things like Rurouni Kenshin and watched a bit of Inuyasha. Cowboy Bebop is one of my favorites. Trigun. There's a lot of that kind of fun stuff. I haven't watched too much modern stuff, but I have watched One Punch Man, and that is a glorious delight. All right. I'm trying to understand this. Would be great to see Chris Yee analysis of Tom's Kickstarter reviews. I'm not going to tell him whether I think that he should think that they're worth it or not. I'm very stingy when it comes to throwing down a lot of money for a board game, like backing something like that. The most I've thrown down for a game has actually honestly been Last Light, probably. But that's because, yeah, I really like it. I've got a chance to play it a few times. But I usually don't do things that are very deluxe-y. I don't like kickstarting like that. And so if you were to look at what I think is actually good value versus what you get, I'm not your Kickstarter person. I'm not your GameFound backer person. A historical game you always feel like playing. Historical as in like the theme is history. Maybe one of the like pandemics that takes place long ago or something. I don't know. There's seldom games that I'm like always in the mood to play. But ones I talk about like For Sale and Push, and I think I'm almost always in the mood to play something light and silly and fun. But yeah, I don't know. Historical, that's one that I would have to think about a tad bit more. How are you with video games? I'm not good at playing video games, if that's what you're saying. Anything competitive, I'm awful at, but I very much enjoy playing. Yeah, I enjoy playing what I'm into. I like group games and stuff. Right now I'm playing through the Jedi Fallen Order video game, which has been fun to just kind of have something different to do, kind of just a little bit more relaxing. Did I ever skateboard? Absolutely not. I am so uncoordinated when it comes to a skateboard. I have tried on multiple occasions, and I don't get it. I should maybe take lessons or something. You know, maybe Roy will finally share with me some of his infinite skateboarding experience, because he can stand on one and move and not fall down. And I don't know if he can do anything else, but that alone is like mind-blowingly impressive to me. Jordan coming in here recommending Star Wars, Clone Wars, and Rebels. I know I've read some of the synopses of some of the story arcs and stuff because they're impressive. I don't know. What do I think about Euro and Ameritrash terms? I feel like they're becoming less meaningful, so to speak. There's never been quite solidly good definitions as is, and I feel like the lines are just blurring more. The more that you see even these Euro games on GameFound and Kickstarter and stuff, you see that they're getting more thematic. They're integrating more theme into the language of the play and the rule book, and sometimes even just mechanically and stuff. And you know what I mean? Like that the Cyberpunk 2077 game that we just did the live play of. What would you classify that as? I don't know. You know what I mean? More things feel like they're becoming kind of hybrid-ish, or just, I don't know. I'm curious to see if those phrases, Ameritrash games, Euro games, are just going to kind of fade out because they're just not becoming as useful. I don't know. I'm going to try and get through questions a little bit faster at a clip here so we don't end up skipping a bunch right at the end. A lot of creativity and new content. Any teases as to what's next with the newness? I think that we talked about, we filmed a couple of things ahead of time so that during these convention weeks we can have content up, and I think those will be kind of fun. They're not necessarily the most creative. A lot of the fun, like creative, silly stuff I like to do is just kind of as things come up. But I think some of those new content people will really like. Thoughts on the Kenobi series? We kind of talked about it during Board Game Breakfast today. I like it. Man, some parts really fall flat. It dips a lot in the middle episodes for me, but then the last two episodes were good enough that I was happy kind of with having watched it. Solo games, yay or nay? Yay. I play plenty of games solo. Who is the office person? Who is the office guy at the office? If I'm Simpsons and Mike is Seinfeld, I think we all kind of, I mean, I like to quote TV shows a lot. I just do. And so, yeah, I think all of us really enjoy The Office. Would love to see the Dice Tower do something like Critical Role, but a family-friendlier version. Well, I mean, I think the closest that you're going to get for now is those Game and Talk episodes that we do. Those are really fun to edit. I try to put a lot into it, you know, and the people when they're on camera put a lot into it. Those are really fun. In terms of like an actual RPG, like role-playing game, I just don't know. There's only so much time for us to do so much stuff, and I think that while some of us are fine or are good, maybe even at role-playing games, they're just a different beast enough that it's hard to kind of also do that. And if we're not going to be great at it, I almost feel like it's better to not delve too much into that, the live play of role-playing games and stuff. Can you rank the following two game designers as to who is your favorite? Tom and Roy. I've never played a Tom Vassell game. I'm missing out. I'm missing out on them fishes. I'm a big video gamer. seeing more board games using video game IPs. Would love to see a top 10 list of board games based on video games. I'm curious if there's that many that are like really good and stand out. That'd be kind of that'd be interesting. Oh, I'm just gonna put this up because it's a compliment. Thanks, Chris, for all that you do. You are the Thor Ragnarok of the Dice Tower. A little wacky, out of left field, but a breath of fresh air, and I'm all in for it. Thor Ragnarok is one of the best MCU films, so I take that as a grand compliment. You play or program all the instruments in that top 100 intro. How much of it is real instrument stuff? So I play the guitar and the bass for the top 100 song, the Friends parody spoof thing. The drums are programmed. It's me and Wendy singing. So yeah, basically, if I had a drum set, I would probably learn to play drums better. I can kind of hold a beat. I'm not a great human metronome, but I can hold a beat. I can fill. I can play a little bit, enough that someone who doesn't know drums at all could look and be like, "Wow, Chris really plays drums." And they're like, "No, I don't." But drums are hard to record. They're hard to mic. They're hard to level and balance and all that stuff. If I had an electric drum set, that is a life goal of mine, actually. That's a goal. Have one of those electric drum kits where everything just comes out into 1/4 inch jack, and you can plug that right into a recording console, and you could just jam out on that. That would be really fun. It still sounds not as good, but that would be great. Anyway, so that being said, pretty much anything that I record, I program drums, just because drums are hard. Drums really are. Let's see. Oh boy, I just realized I'm getting to the comments that are talking about top Stonemaier games, so. Little Caesar's gonna go see Iron Maiden in October. Oh, that's so great. That'd be so cool. Favorite Carnival food? Oh, maybe like a great deep fried corn dog or something. I like that. I mean, elephant ears or like the deep fried dough stuff is so good, but you get kind of sick of it. Chili cheese fries maybe, but like a nice fresh, real dipped fried corn dog is so good. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, Vanessa seen Weird Al live. Bucket list concerts were Rush. Got to see them twice. Fleetwood Mac. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I think Iron Maiden is the last one of my kind of bucket list type things. Bucket list type concerts. The Love Boat. That's a great theme song, and so is the Animaniacs. Animaniacs is very high up there. Ooh, good call. Scrolling through. Oh, the Phineas and Ferb theme song is great. That's true. That is Bowling for Soup. I like Bowling for Soup a lot. They're a fun little pop punk band. And then especially, there's something really fun when you take something that's kind of a bit aggressive and edgy, like punk music, and then you put it into like a kid show, and it has to just be a little bit more kid friendly, but it still is kind of, it's still rocking. There's something I like about that. Oh yeah, Jess Frogger definitely agrees with me about the Family Matters theme song. Days Go By, for sure. Big Bang Theory. I like the theme song more than the actual show itself. But Bare Naked Ladies is the band that did the theme song for Big Bang Theory, and I've seen them in concert twice, and they are phenomenal musicians. Would highly recommend. Sword Art Online. That's a show that I watched a few episodes of. It would be, if I had more time, I could really get into. I could really get into that show, I assume. After the School Dice Club anime about the board games, that'd be fun to watch. I think more as a curiosity. But yeah, I don't watch a ton of TV, like I said, so it's hard for me to make the time for all of that. Are Wendy and I going to do a series called Hear Ye, Hear Ye? Well, we put that little tag at the front of when we do reviews together, just because people requested enough, and I thought that'd be fun. Maybe that'd be an interesting, like if we ever to just do like the two of us just kind of like talking. Like if we basically kicked Tom out of Board Game Breakfast, that could be the Hear Ye, Hear Ye show. Oh, thanks, Belle. Well, just wanted to say I appreciate that. Do I have a favorite two-player only game? You could look at my top 100, and then somewhere on there's going to be like two-player only games. Coming to mind right now, I think Agricola, All Creatures Big and Small, with the expansions, is phenomenal. It's very fast, it's very thinky still, and then when you put the expansion buildings in there, it creates variety from game to game, so that you have different strategic paths that open up to you based on little buildings you put out there. I like that one a lot, so I'm gonna go with that. Let's see. Interesting. Did you see a previous Q&A where Tom named you as the Dice Tower employee with the most adventurous taste in games? Oh, cool. Well, thank you. I had not heard that. We've talked around the office a little bit, like who tends to like a wide swath of games. I think I do. But I don't know. I'm willing to try most things. There's a few things I know that I probably am just not going to enjoy. I'll give you an example. I am 90% sure that I'm going to hate Rising Sun, but I'll still try it at some point. You know, I kind of want to just know, right? Maybe I will appreciate things about it, and maybe it's a game I won't come back to, but maybe there's things about it that will sing, or maybe the game as a whole will be fun, but I don't know. There's a part of me that does want to try games that I think I won't enjoy. So, and I try to be pretty open-minded about it, even when I think that I won't like it. Can you do a strong bad impression again, please? Gramtastic 83. I'm sorry that there are 82 other Gramtastics before you. I like doing strong bad. It's my go-to silly guy voice, usually. Have I played Marshmallow Test at 5 players? Changed the game strategy because 3 of the 5 players could end the round with no marshmallows. I think it's a maximum of 2. The way that the rules are, right? Because you only play to 3 tricks, and once you hit 3 tricks, you're out. So can it be 3-3, 2-2-2? I guess it could be. Also, all the cards are then dealt at the beginning. I tend to like it at less than 5 for that reason. I like the little bit of mystery, which cards weren't dealt out. But it still works at 5 players because at some point, someone, once they hit the 3 tricks and they win the marshmallows, then their unplayed cards won't ever get played that round. So there is still some mystery as to whether all the cards are out or not. What was the biggest culture shock moving to Florida from Vegas? What was the biggest change, I guess? Just green everywhere. Everything's so green. I take allergy pills year round now because I'm allergic to almost every plant on this green earth. But yeah, it's amazing. You just look out, and I've gotten acclimated to it, which I feel like I wish I could always keep that sense of wonder. You know, I wish I could always just look out and be like, there's plants everywhere, everything grows, it's amazing. And instead now I just kind of drive by and like, there's like a million trees and palm trees and all this grass and all this farmland and stuff. Like, I wish I could keep that sense of wonder when something is amazing like that, because that was probably the biggest shock. And I've lived other places that are more verdant than Vegas because any place is more verdant. But yeah, I think that'll answer the question. David, you got me. I am an Aquabats fan. Ooh, Spidey and his amazing friend has a Patrick Stump theme song. I like this discussion. More theme songs, please. Feel free to recommend any of them to me. Next week, you're going to go see Aquabats Bowling for Soup and Less Than Jake in concert? Oh, man. That'd be cool. That'd be pretty cool. Team ketchup or mustard? Ketchup. I don't care for mustard that much. Are we planning of staging a hostile takeover of the Dice Town, removing Tom? No. All right. Have I ever purchased a game just based on a single component? No. As I said earlier, I'm too stingy. I'm way too stingy. I don't buy games based on theme. I don't buy games based on, like, it's just, I seldom buy games, and so I almost feel like I have to know if I'm going to like it, if I'm going to spend the money on it. All right. S'mores, yes or no? Of course. course. Yes. I wish they were easier to make, you know. I mean, they actually are, but I don't feel justified if I'm not near like an open fire or something. I wish I could get the chocolate to melt just a little bit, but s'more flavored things, that is a problem because I will eat that up. They made like s'mores flavored cereal at one point, and I thought that's ridiculous. Also, I want 20 boxes. So, we live in a different world. Regarding the Marshmallow Test, not even the board game, I asked myself the question about getting a marshmallow now or waiting 30 minutes to get a second one, and without hesitation, he said, Alexa set a timer for 30 minutes. Oh my gosh. Kids, they know how to game the system. That's wild. Take the electronics away next time. Maybe that's the real test. Oh, WWE conversation pops up every once in a while. Who has the promo skills at the Dice Tower? Who is the biggest heel and babyface? Gosh, I don't know. That'd be fun though. That's like something I can't decide. I feel like y'all, the chat, should determine, you know, who who could do all that. Favorite game that's older than 10 years? Once again, I mean, I'm sure that you could just look on my top 100, but if I had to just kind of pick something out of the ether here, I've talked about For Sale like a bunch of times. For Sale is fantastic. I also really like Manhattan a lot. Manhattan is a game that was around in 96 or so. So yeah, I mean, one of the things that we're doing actually for the Dice Tower Library, speaking of what's happening over yonder, is that we're putting together different little lists. So when you come to the convention, there's going to be a physical book that you can flip through to see where all the games are that you want. But also we're going to scatter pages throughout there that are going to be like top 10 whatever. So we're making, each of us are kind of making some lists, like top 10 Cult of the Old games, top 10 games that you probably haven't gotten to try, top 10 games that are like really upgraded and blinged out in the Dice Tower Library. So those would be fun. Batman the Animated Series had a fantastic theme. That is true. Shirley Walker is a fantastic composer, and what she did with the motifs and stuff from Danny Elfman, that's a great pick. Oh, oh, thanks, Belle. Add that your frugality is great. The board game content space is overly consumerist. That's the hard thing, is that when you talk about so many great games, you want to talk about how great they are, but also I know, right, that I'm stingy. I'm what is your word again? Frugal, and I know that people have limited budget, and that does. I can't just say this game is too expensive, I don't recommend it, right? But you just have to be aware when you're talking about games. These are awesome, amazing, fantastic, kind of luxury purchases. So you want to really talk highly about the ones that you think are good, and you want to let people know which ones aren't amazing. And I don't know, it's hard to. You don't want to just bring finite value into it. This game is worth $60 or is not. That doesn't make sense. But we do always keep that in mind. So yeah, glad that you appreciate it. I haven't tried Scout. I think I watched it being played one time and I thought that seems okay, right? But it wasn't like calling to me. Why is that? Good trick-taking starter? I don't know. I'll try it at some point. The X-Men animated theme song, animated series theme. Yes, we've been watching that with our daughter. And that's pretty fun to see her get so excited and invested, and she'll sometimes be sitting there, eating breakfast and going, na 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 na. It's so catchy. DuckTales. How could I forget DuckTales? That is one of my favorite theme songs, actually. Knight Rider theme. No, I've not been to Singapore. Favorite activity that isn't board games. I enjoy watching movies. I really enjoy tinkering and doing like video editing work or recording music and stuff, playing music. I've always really enjoyed I've done video editing as a hobby, and so that's part of the reason that I like doing, for example, like the Game and Talk videos. Those highly edited playthroughs are really fun to do. They get tiring at some point, and then I put it down for a little bit, and then I come back to it in a day or two, and I'm like, ooh, yeah, I'll throw this in here. Ooh, how about this music in the background? What if I do this to kind of bring out the mood? And that is genuinely a hobby that I really enjoy, and so this job is a pretty good fit. S'mores in the microwave is a good idea, I know. I have to buy 3 different ingredients to make that work, though. And it's very dangerous for me to have all those ingredients and own a microwave. What's a game you'd like to see giant-sized? Captain Sonar. Ah, that'd be so cool. Yes! You just have like booths and stuff, and the radio operator is sitting there with an actual headset, and you actually through a headset listen to the captain on the other side of like a wall, basically. I don't know. That'd be cool. I mean, like giant-sized, life-sized. Okay. Zeevil is the mega heal. There you go. All right. Is there a game you played so much that you refuse to play it again? Not permanently, probably, right? But like, I did a lot of the unlock escape room type things, and I just don't have much desire to play an escape room board game type thing anytime soon. And maybe give it some time. Oh, cool, yeah, I could jump into one of these again. Favorite dad joke? If you watch the 30-hour marathon, there was a little bumper full of dad jokes that I really like, and so there's plenty of great ones that are in there. One of my favorite jokes in general, though, is a man walks into a bar. He looks panicked. Bartender, how tall do penguins get? And the bartender says, pardon? He says, bartender, this is serious. How tall do penguins get? The bartender says, what do you mean? Bartender, this is life or death. I need to know how tall do penguins get? The bartender says, okay. 3 feet about? The guy, his face turns pale white, and he says, oh no, I just ran over a nun. So that's one of my go-tos. Each person in the Dice Tower should have their own library shelf of recommendations. Yeah, feel free to email Tom Vassell that recommendation, see how that goes over. We make some recommendations, like I said, in the lists that we do for the convention. So you'll see some of our tastes kind of reflected there, at least. We're getting here pretty darn close to the end. Ooh, I like this one. What did Yoda say when he saw himself in 4K? HD, am I? Very good. Very good. X-Men is my ringtone. That's a good choice. I've never watched the X-Men Evolution series. Yeah. I didn't watch any of the X-Men animated stuff after the original one. I just kind of fell out into other things. Maybe that darn anime that took over my TV life, you know. Let's see. We're getting dangerously close to the end here. Ooh, I don't know if you can hear Tom's cackling and crackling from the other room. That's great. Since you and Mike seem to be like fire and gasoline, do the other members of the Dice Tower have a team name for you? No, and I think that they should come up with one, because honestly, it's about time. I saw an update on Castle Panic. I think, I don't know if that Kickstarter has delivered yet, but there's like the gigantic, really, really, I cautiously say overproduced, right? Like the big miniatures and all that stuff version of Castle Panic. That'd be interesting. Our daughter's probably the age she could play Castle Panic. That'd be fun. I would probably, myself, because I'm both stingy but I'm also lazy, I would probably just play the original Castle Panic because the tiles work so well, and it's just, I don't need all my games to be gigantic. Unless it's Captain Sonar. And also, while you're at it, making this giant life-size version that I'm dreaming about, give me 2 actual submarines. That'd be great. That'd be great. Shelf of Shame in the Dice Tower, then marathon playing them. Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. That'd be kind of cool. That is essentially what our Ketchupalooza series kind of is, actually. Even if it's not stuff necessarily from the library specifically, but yeah, that's a good point. Alrighty. Rocky or Rambo? That's an interesting question. I have a stronger affinity towards the Rocky movies. I like them in general. They're very fun, you know. Yeah, more than Rambo, I think. Rambo's excellent, awesome, cool stuff or whatever, but I just don't have much drive to watch them. I'd happily watch, like, you know, a Rocky movie every once in a while. Alrighty, folks, it is post 1 o'clock. So I'm very grateful for y'all coming out here to share some time with me, letting me answer y'all's questions and everything. Except for Josh Franklin's last second question: is Die Hard a Christmas movie? Is it the world's greatest action movie, though? You let me know, because Tom, he kind of stands by that one, and I'm not sure. I'm truly not sure. So we're going to wrap up here. Make sure to come back at 3 o'clock. That's 2 hours from now. Tom is going to be doing the At the Table. So Tom and Eric are going to be interviewing Elizabeth Hargrave. You might have heard of her as the designer of Tussie Mussy. And some other games, like Wingspan. That's a joke. I didn't mention Wingspan in my top 3 Stonemaier games. It's not the top 3. Solid, but not top 3. So thank you all for coming by. Until next time, I'm Chris Yee here at the Dice Tower. Have yourselves a fantastic day.